Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to share with you all my recipe for a chana pie. Now you can make this with black eye or dal, whatever type of legume you would like. It's really delicious and I know you guys are going to love this one for something different this fasting season. So to make these chana pies, I have here 1 cup of chana that I soaked overnight in some water. I then rinsed out that, threw away that water, rinsed out the chana in some fresh, clean water and put it into a pot with some clean water. To that, I'm going to go in with some salt and we want to bring this chana up to a boil and allow those grains to get really tender, and then we'll move on to the next part of this recipe. While the chana is boiling, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some vegetables. I have onions, pimento peppers, hot peppers, garlic and scallions, and I'm also going to be using some bandanya. So all you have to do is chop your seasonings as fine as possible because they are going to go into the pie and you don't want it to be too chunky. So guys, the chana is really tender. When you squeeze it, it's really hot. So when you squeeze it, it should squeeze pretty easily. So what I'm going to do is take it out of the hot water, drain it, put it into a bowl and set it aside. In this skillet, I'm going to go in with some oil and allow that to heat up on a medium heat. When the oil is hot, add in your chopped vegetables or seasonings. I'm lightly going to season with salt and black pepper. So I'm just going to saute this until all of those seasonings in here are nice and tender and a light brown color. That just adds more flavor. Now I'm going to go in with that chana and I'm going to use my potato masher and I'm going to go ahead and mash the chana up because you want it to be nice and soft. To this I'm going to go in with some fresh green seasoning that I have already blended and I'm just going to mix that in. Now at this point you would want to allow this to cook out for another 5 minutes, after which you'll taste and adjust your salt accordingly and set it aside and allow it to cool down. Next we're going to work on the dough for this. In this bowl I have my flour. To my flour I'm going to go in with 1 teaspoon of baking powder and half of a teaspoon of yeast. Now I don't put any salt in my flour, but if you wanted to you can. I'm just going to mix those ingredients together and I'm using some lukewarm water to help me bring this together. You want to knead this to a soft to medium dough. And I'll tell you guys how much water I use when I'm finished. And I've already used half of a cup of water there. When you're kneading flour, you don't want the flour, the dough that you're kneading, to feel dry. You want it to feel moist. If it's feeling dry, if it's getting hard, you need to add some more water. When it's perfect, it feels a little bit tacky or sticky. So you see, watch, look how that dough looks. It's not dry, it's sticky, and that's how you want it. So I'm gonna start to bring my dough together, and I used just over 3/4 cups of water. Depending on where you live, that's how much water you may use, and also depending on the brand of flour that you're using. So I also, when you're kneading, you just want to knead it or put enough water to knead so that the dough comes together to form a nice soft dough. And look at the consistency of this dough. This is how I like the dough to be. So I'm going to continue kneading this. Once the dough comes together, I like going in with a little bit of dry flour and I like to continue kneading this for about 5 to 8 minutes until we have a really nice soft smooth dough. Once you have a nice soft dough, cover it with a damp paper towel and allow it to rest for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to break the dough into smaller dough balls. I'm just going to cover these and allow them to rest for 5 minutes. Okay guys, so now to fill the pies. Here I have my filling already cooled and I'm going to start by opening out one of the dough balls and you want to open out the edges a little more thinner than the middle, And we're going to put the filling in here. And guys, I know I use Channa for this, but if you wanted to boil dal and make a dal pie instead, you can. And I left some of the grains whole just for texture. You want to press down and bring up the ends to close. And you'll notice I'm not using any additional dry flour, because if you were to put a lot of dry flour on the ends, it's going to open out while it's frying. And you just want to press down lightly and set it aside and continue filling the rest of pies. Okay, next we're gonna fry the pies on a medium low heat. Remember, the filling is already cooked, so we just need the dough itself to cook. And you want to fry them until they're light golden brown. So you see that nice color that it has? That's what you want. And you see how it's not opening in the oil? That's because we didn't put any additional dry flour when we were closing it. When you do that, it tends to open out in the oil, and then the filling falls out in the oil. When the pies are finished, you just want to drain them on some paper towels, and you're going to continue frying the rest of them until you've fried out all of the pies. So I'm just gonna break open one so you guys can see the texture and the consistency of the dough. Now, it's not gonna be a wet filling. You see, it's not very dewy. You see how thin the pie is, and you have that nice seasoned filling inside.
So I hope you guys enjoyed today's recipe. Make it and let me know down below if you like it. Also try making it with puff pastry. It will give you a really different texture and consistency. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.